Hi everyone, welcome to Mystic Revolution. Susana and I are in season 2 speaking to you around mastering our energy. But first, how about we go play meditation? So let's tune into our inner world. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes. Notice the sounds around you, the sounds inside of you. Let your body help you come to present time. Our bodies are always in present time. It's my thoughts, my energy that go wandering hither and yon. So call back all of your energy from space and time and let it be inside your body. And some of that energy you're done with, or what comes with it. So like sand in your hands, just let go. Your energy and attention come back here. It might be intense. Let go of the intensity. Let the earth eat it. Good. And notice a sun above you representing your unique present time experience of the divine, or all that is, or spirit. And let that sunshine bring you to alignment and full of light. And when you're ready, one more deep breath. And you can stay meditative or open your eyes, and we're going to play. So we were just saying hi to the sun, which was a part of the picture I was hearing last week. You talked all about, giving us a little introduction to the great work. So I'd love to hear maybe a little recap, and then we're going to go delving into it. What does it look like in life?
Sure. So last week, I gave a simplistic overview of what is known as the great work, the alchemical process of turning base metal into gold, or the alchemical process of we as humans embodying the divine, becoming one with the divine. And as I mentioned before, there's so much stuff online about this, so please take a moment and look it up and discover some of these things for yourself, because we don't have enough time in our little podcast here to share all of it. But I think that it's a great framework to keep in mind as you're on your spiritual journey, as you're on your journey as a mystic. It goes back to the days of ancient alchemy and the idea of searching for the philosopher's stone, of finding the right process to, again, turn in the material world, essentially manifest gold, and in the spiritual world, manifest your own goldenness, own connection with God, your understanding with God. And we looked at 4 stages. The first is Nigredo, which is sort of, let's burn it all down to the core, right? Blackening. I liken it to the stage in Energy Mastery where you're going deep down into the dark and you're stripping away all the programming, all of the old patterns, all the old beliefs, right? Burning out the energy systems, the emotional mind and energy systems that have kept you trapped and burdened, so that there is space for the true essence of who you are, the pure essence of who you are, to step forward, which then goes into the next phase, which is Albedo. It's the purification process. And so in that process, we wash away the ashes, wash away the debris, right? Release the debris and allow ourselves to simply be in that pure expression. And it's a place of, awakening more to the truth of who you are, the truth of you as spirit. Um, and then the next phase, I like to think of it as, okay, now though, we go back into the body in a more pure way. So the integration process, it's called Citrinitas. And there's more burning. You think of like the old pictures of or movies of alchemists where they're, in their lab, Bunsen burners and things going on and stirring things,
Mhm.
right? In this, we are infusing this new knowingness. And it's not new, it's the pure knowingness of this aspect of ourselves into the visceral experience of our body. And as Wendy and I were talking about, it's not always easy. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
It's like taking all the spiritual teachings that you know and you have had epiphanies about, and then putting them into practice, walking your talk. What happens when you actually show up in that way, right? You might get bowled over, but still you stand true, um, and step up into even more. And then out of this tension, resistance, and then the integration then happens, and we evolve into Rubedo, which is like the full blossoming. Think of the phoenix rising in all its glory, rising above it all. You stepping into the fullness of full on you, and in the body connected with the divine. And that's what I love about the redness of it, the lifeblood of it. So using that as sort of a backdrop or a framework or a reference point, I think can be helpful as we're kind of going through our own stuff. Because mastering your energy isn't like, oh, I learned a bunch of tools, I learned to do them perfectly, and then everything is perfect in my life. It's
Yeah.
it's not that. I've talked a lot, Wendy. Can you pick up? Can you?
I can.
Yes, I know you can.
I've got a whole list of things here.
I saw your screen. You're furiously taking notes. Please,
Seriously.
please go.
Um, I'll start right where you were. The pictures was getting is that it helps to understand, and there's lots of these paradigms. There's lots of these ideas of we're on a journey
Mm-hmm.
in this life. It's not just life sucks, then you die or whatever. Um,
Right.
but there is the life sucks part. And a few episodes ago, we talked about like how crazy amounts of depression and anxiety and all that is going on, and how much um, covering of that is going on, both with prescription drugs as well as all kinds of other things. And I think that it's really important to note that all of that, there's times where drugs are awesome. There's right, yay for drugs. There's times when checking out is actually helpful. I can't take anymore. But if we arrest our development, if we're just like, this is painful, I don't want to be with it.
Right.
Just stay in that part of our journey where it's just, we're in the fire, it's painful, we're being deconstructed, it's hell. But we arrest there, and we have to just keep taking the drugs. We have to keep having addictions. We have to keep covering because we can't handle it. But we're not moving through that crisis, that consciousness crisis, I think. And I see a lot of this. There's just like, there's not a moving, there's not that maturing process of the soul gets interrupted. And I think it helps to understand these kinds of paradigms and say, oh, I feel like I'm dying, or I feel like I'm burning apart, or I feel like, because we do.
We do. And it's it can be temporary. And what you're speaking to, I think there's a notion that when we feel that intensity, that means there's something wrong and we got to fix it. There's something wrong and we got to fix it. And how the faster we fix it, the better. And I'm not saying that there aren't moments like that. Of course there are.
Yes.
But in the process of mastering your energy, you start to use your discernment, right? Is this an emergency? Is this something that I really need to fix? Or am I in a stage of development? Is this because, you know, I understand that the real the nature of reality is more than I thought it was, and I'm having a hard time now walking through the world with it.
Yes.
Um, and that's a huge one for it's a huge one for me. It's huge. It's huge to finally see that, and wonder how you live with that, operate with that in the day-to-day machinations of life.
Yes.
But I think that's part of the great work. I
Yes.
would liken that to Citrinitas, which is you have the education, you have the experience, now, like,
Live it.
embody it.
Yes. And it burns. It really does.
Yeah,
And that's normal.
it's normal.
And,
Yeah,
better living through chemicals. It's, it's kind of gotten in the way of that sometimes. People just stay stuck, and don't move on to the happy, happy, joy, joy, blossom, blossom.
right.
That's possible. So I just really that it's just such an important part to bring up, and it's part of where our work comes in. Like I know for me, like I find myself saying to people, they're coming, they're crawling in, they're crawling, they're just crawling on fire, and they're just like, I don't know, I was so successful, everything was fine. I'm not this person. All of a sudden, my job goes away, I'm divorced, I have no money. It's like the shit hits the fan, and I'm just like, don't worry, this is where I work. This is normal for me.
Mhm.
Like, you've come to the right place. Welcome. I'll hold your hand. We'll walk through it.
Yeah.
I think it really helps to have people who do stuff like we do, to just be like, oh, this is part of the plan. Let's walk on through the fire. We don't have to sit in it forever. It'll do its
Well,
work, and by the time we get there, the sun will come up.
yeah, and I think do it in a way as you just presented, that's kind and understanding and, normalized.
Normalized, which is part of the reason for this whole show, by the way.
Right,
On this.
normalizing and that it's more than just knowing something intellectually, it's more than just mastering a skill, right? It's that full visceral embodiment of all that you are, as you beautifully are, allowing it all to be and live in that, because that really is where your full power lies. That's the phoenix,
Yes, it really is.
the mythical bird is sort of the symbol of multidimensional you, and it's not a myth. That exists, in all of us, but we get caught, and the hard parts can feel, like inescapable sometimes.
Yes, it's because they are inescapable, but it's I like when I'm in it, I'm screaming. But when I am blessed to work with other people, like I have a higher perspective. I'm not in it as much. And so I can like say, don't worry, like when there's life, there's hope,
Yeah,
just let's keep going, keep walking. And it is a necessary part. Like I don't think the I don't think any of these stages until the end are like easy. They all suck. Like, they have really their sucky parts. And okay, life has its sucky parts and its wonderful parts. That's the game. Let's play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And, a framework for your own life. I mean, it can be a framework for your life as a whole or a framework for day to day. I mean, as we talked about last time, we have great works in all aspect of our lives, whether it's in relationships or in professional life or in, allowing a creative talent to come out. I mean, every aspect. And it's not just you go through it once.
Yeah.
The phoenix rises and then burns to the ground and then rises and rises again, maybe in a different way, maybe to a different level. Right?
Yes.
It's like the evolutionary process
Mhm.
that is within the larger body of the own greater work.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love owning that Magnum Opus. I love that it's possible. I love that there's beauty created beyond the everyday
yeah,
by us being in the world and really engaging. It's such a blessing to be part of the beautiful music made here.
it is. And knowing that, I mean, that you can actually say that in certainty and
Yeah.
in all certainty is so gorgeous. And it's true for every one of us.
Yeah.
It's just, um, I'm just going to say most every aspect of our life, we've not been brought up to know that, to believe that, you
Mhm.
know?
Yes.
So, I'm not saying not everyone, I'm sure there are some people, but
Yeah.
I mean, um, life is hard.
Yeah, life is hard, and it's like with this kind of paradigm, there's others. With this kind of paradigm, there's just so much hope. I can't contain it.
Yeah.
Like it's like this is so exciting, and I'm all about teleos. I'm all about coming to bloom.
Yes.
And it's teleos is the step-by-step process of coming to bloom, and that's what we're talking about. So I'm all over this. And I think the hope is really helpful because it sucks. There's a lot that sucks and a lot that it's hard. And right now in our society, things are hard. And I think it helps to take our eyes, not to ignore it, but take our eyes off that onto like, oh, I'm here to like bring this amazing gift of my flowering and inspiring your flowering. And who knows what other cool stuff will happen along the way, creations and healings. It's just so awesome.
Yeah.
This is a good time for a break.
Thank you, We Are Historically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
Hey everyone, just a friendly reminder that on the first Tuesday of every month, we hold a Mystic Revolution meditation, and you're invited. Just go to our website and you'll find the link. We look forward to seeing you then.
Raise your vibration and energize your life with specialized Fibonacci tuning forks that deepen meditations and empower self-healing. Get your vibrational sound tools for personal enhancement at energybodytuners.com.
Welcome back to Mystic Revolution. And Susana and I are speaking around the great work. And we're not going to review it again. But did you remember what you were thinking about, Susana?
I'm not exactly, but it reminded me in the last episode we sort of touched on birds. So there's a lot of symbology related to each of these phases for sure. And so in the Blackening we have the raven, right? The raven who picks away at the dead carcass and as it's rotting. Sorry to be so graphic, but that's really what it is. Things are rotting away.
Yes.
The raven comes in and takes the rotting pieces away, right? Then in the next phase, we have the dove or the swan, which really is, right, symbolically, it just gives me shivered. It really is like that beautiful picture of that pure spirit, right, the purity. And then we go into Citrinitas, which is interesting. It's got the peacock. Now, in alchemy, that's a magical bird, right? It's got a lot of, there's so much about peacocks in mysticism, as some of you likely know, but peacock gets put in that because the way I think of it is like when you see it in all of its glory, it's like, I mean, it's an actual creature that looks magical, right?
Yes.
Like and it opens up.
It really does.
It's so beautiful. It's like the magic embodied. And then we go into the reddening or the Rubedo, the last section, where the phoenix rises, which again is a mythical bird, but I think
It is? It's not a real bird?
the phoenix.
I just thought it was a real bird that didn't actually burn up. It's not a real bird. What do I know?
Well, there might be a bird called the phoenix, but the phoenix is right. It really is the idea of the bird, the mythical, magical bird, the magical embodied you rising up into the full glory of the divine, of the God of your heart, God or goddess of your heart, right? Even just having those pictures in the back of your mind, or even, I don't know, at your desk or in your bathroom. I mean, these are things that I like. We talk about tools. There's the energy work and tools, but sometimes having reminders, right? Like
Totally.
if I'm feeling down in the dark, there's Raven. That gives me hope.
Experience.
Validate the experience, and that gives me hope that, right, it's going to go away. It's going to be taken away.
Right.
It can be taken away.
It's just
it's just a phase. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. It's like, and these birds can kind of be validation and encouragement in a particular stage, or like seeing the phoenix is like someday I'm going to rise. Like, because I went through years and years and years and years of like, maybe this Easter I'll rise. Nope. Maybe this Easter I'll rise. And it turned out Easter came and I did rise, bizarrely. Like it could, it could be 365 days a year, but like it really did happen. And it's just helpful to have that picture, like someday I'll rise.
Yeah. And, as we've already discussed, we can rise in different aspects of ourself at any moment.
Yes.
Right. But we are also on this longer trajectory, if we want to be, of rising. And, again, everyone who's listening to this has some interest in mysticism. So this is just something to play with. And I am not giving the full details by any stretch. And it's also, my experience and interpretation of it. So again, encourage you to look it up and to study it and research it on your own, because that's really what it's about. It's about our own alchemical process. Yeah.
You know what's funny, Susanna, is after like it's been over 20 years or whatever, but I'm listening on tape to the Harry Potter series. And and like it's like, oh my gosh, that's in there. This is in there. All this stuff is in there.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know.
Yeah, it's in a lot of things, and sometimes it's overt and sometimes it's subtle, and so when you start to notice, that gets really fun too. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for bringing this perspective and I'm so glad today we got a chance to kind of explicate some of this ideas and how this can help us or what it can look like, because I think it's very useful. And I hope that it uh, inspires you all to have these conversations in your life and look things up and meditate with them. And please make some notes about what you notice for yourself in the chat. Be wonderful. Okay. So we are going to do a little bitty meditation. So let's notice that we are ourselves. You are you, and Susanna's Susanna, and I'm me, and my energy is returning to me, and your energy is returning to you out there in listener land. And Susanna's energy is returning to her. Rusty, our producer, is here. His energy is returning to him. Each of us are coming home and just dropping everybody else's energy, everybody else's perspective. You've heard a lot of words out of us. Drop our words and keep your experience, what you noticed for yourself about what we said, what matters to you. Dropping our energy and our perspectives and enjoying yours. So when you're ready to take a deep breath, you're welcome to keep meditating, have fun with that, and we are going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you so much. Bye.
And that concludes this portion of Mystic Revolution. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to get notified of new content. And don't forget to like and share. Join the Mystic Revolution. Click on the link in the description to get more information or visit themysticrevolution.com.
Another Creative Art production by Retro Earth Studio.
We covered topics like the importance of inner strength and a sense of sovereignty, and how that comes when you choose a mystic path.